Hey everybody, welcome to Mortgage Today for Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. And oh, what a day it was. UMBS were pretty much flat on the morning. Stocks are lower this morning on continued pressure on Boeing. Bonds and MBS were up small. Bill Gross believes treasuries are overvalued after betting big on them in September of last year. He's a bigger fan of Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. Note that he has been a big believer in mortgage REITs, which is an implied bet on MBS spreads. In other words, he may be negative on treasuries, but is positive on mortgage rates. Small business optimism improved in December. According to the NFIB Small Business Optimism Report, inflation remains the biggest problem, and small business optimism is at depressed levels. Job openings remain high, although companies appear to be scaling down or at least somewhat future planning goals. Job openings remain high, although companies appear to be scaling down future hiring plans. The president of the National Association of Realtors has resigned to what appears to be a blackmail operation. As president and longtime member of NAR, I've always put the interests of NAR first as a result of the recent threat, and given the significance of this moment for myself, my family, and the organization, it is again time for me to put the interests of NAR first, he said in his resignation letter. Short-term inflationary expectations fell to the lowest level in 3 years, according to the New York Fed. One-year inflationary expectations fell from 3.4 to 3.0, while the 3-year expectations fell from 3.0 to 2.6. This gives the Fed further ammo to cut rates as the real inflation adjusted short term interest rate is rising when rates are steady and inflation is falling. Today's trading session set a reasonably wide range relative to the past few months. It also set the highest yields for the past few years, but things have gotten increasingly sideways since then. Yesterday's entire range was well inside Friday's. Now today's range is well inside yesterday's. What does it all mean? There are only so many conclusions to draw from a sideways, increasingly narrow range. Indecision is the most obvious conclusion, and that would stand to reason with December CPI coming on Thursday morning. This week's Treasury auction cycle has some potential to increase volatility, but that was not the case after today's 3-year auction. But that was not the case after today's 3-year auction, which was essentially no reaction. UMBS closed the day pretty flat, up 2 basis points to 101.19. But in things you can control, its influence, and influencing others is what this business is all about. So today we got a post from our sponsor at, thatmakesense.com. This is a video series from the great book, Influenced by Robert Cialdini. And this is all about how you can use scarcity to sell more of your products.